We recently listed two Spanish-style homes in the same neighborhood that were so similar, they were basically direct competition for one another. They hit the market the same week, which is rare. Usually, you don't get to see different pricing strategies play out this clearly in real time. One home sold in 10 days with 7 offers. The other took 130 days and sold for less. The difference was not the neighborhood. It was not the style of the home. It was not the size of the lot. The difference was the pricing strategy. So if you're thinking about selling your home, there are really 3 pricing strategies you need to understand: market pricing, event pricing, and aspirational pricing. The first is market pricing. That means pricing the home for what you believe it's actually worth in today's market. The second is event pricing. That's when you price the home below market value to create urgency, get more people through the door, and generate multiple offers. The third is aspirational pricing. That's when you price the home above market value, knowing that you'll have to negotiate or reduce the price later. Now, let me show you what this looks like in real life. Each home had 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a tile roof, similar square footage, and a similar lot size. And each home had a value somewhere between $1,700,000 and $1,750,000. We say that because no home has one exact dollar amount as its value. Homes are worth a range, and they were both similar ranges. The Howard homeowner chose event pricing. We listed their home for $1,649,000 and ended up receiving 7 offers and selling it for $1,760,000 after 10 days on the market. The Cordova homeowner decided to go with aspirational pricing, and they listed their home for $1,795,000. It did not sell in the first 10 days, and after 2 price reductions, it finally sold for $1,695,000 after 130 days on the market. Now, of course, we can't know exactly what would have happened if they had used event pricing, but based on the activity we saw on the Howard home, I believe Cordova may have had a very different result if it had been priced with an event strategy from the beginning. In the end, the higher starting price may have cost them around $40,000 and about 4 months of time. Now, there's more to event pricing than just using a lower price. You actually have to price it low enough for the strategy to work. Typically, that means about 5 to 8% below the market value of the home. Pricing it 2 or 3% below market value may not create the urgency or the bidding war you're looking for. So if you're going to use event pricing, you need to go low enough to get buyers' attention. You also need to have an offer due date. Now, this is really important. Buyers need to know that there will be a week or 10 days of showings, and then offers will be due on a very specific date. We also let buyers know that the seller reserves the right to accept an offer before that due date if they receive one they just love. Now, that helps you avoid losing a motivated buyer who wants to write a great offer but doesn't want to wait until the deadline. Now, some sellers ask, if I use event pricing, do I have to accept an offer that comes in at the asking price? Well, the answer is no. An offer to buy a home is not just one number. It's a full contract with many different terms and conditions. Price is just one of those terms. So even if a buyer offers the asking price, the seller still has the right to look at the entire offer and decide if it works for them. Something else to consider is that event pricing works best when the home has a pretty wide buyer pool. If the home has a feature that is going to eliminate a lot of buyers, event pricing may not be the right strategy. For example, if a home is a 3-story home, very vertical, and has no yard space, well, that's going to really narrow the buyer pool. And when the buyer pool starts off small, it can be harder to create that bidding war. In that case, you may be better off pricing the home at market value, doing a great job marketing, holding it open, and giving it time to find the right buyer. It may not happen in a week or 10 days, but that's okay. So now, you've seen what can happen when one home is priced at event pricing and the other home is priced using the higher aspirational pricing. But what happens when you price a home at market value? That's a great question. And it really depends on the heat of the market. What we're seeing right now is that buyers may walk into a home priced at market value and say, this is a good house at a fair price. But because buyers are more familiar with different pricing strategies, they may also ask themselves, is the seller expecting a bidding war? Are they expecting me to pay over the asking price? And if that buyer knows they are not willing to pay more than the asking price, they may decide to wait and see what the activity is like. Then, a few weeks later, if the home is still on the market, they may come back and write an offer, sometimes well below the asking price. And they'll use that opportunity to negotiate. And honestly, that's what they should do. Hopefully, the seller's agent is a good negotiator and can bring them up in price. But what we're seeing is the buyers can sometimes get a really good deal on a market-priced home simply because it didn't sell in the first 20 days. So, pricing is tricky. It's not just picking a number. It's choosing a strategy. And the right strategy depends on the home, the market, the buyer pool, and what the seller's trying to accomplish. So, before you list your home, make sure you understand the difference between market pricing, event pricing, and aspirational pricing. Because where you start can affect not only what you sell for, but how long it takes you to get there. If you have any questions about pricing your home or would like to understand your situation a little bit better, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm Dave Robles, and I'm happy to help.